Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coming Up Milhouse, the show where we try not to talk about Milhouse whatsoever.
That's correct.
This is Season 4, Episode 11, Homer's Triple Bypass.
That's right. The title says it all. Homer, he likes his little snacks, he likes the occasional...
Yeah, the occasional fondue in bed.
Yeah, exactly. A little turkey leg here or there. Why not? Hey, life's short, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it's much more short for Homer in his situation because he needs a triple bypass surgery on his heart because he clogged it up with all them snacks. Mm-hmm. But there's a problem. He does not have any health insurance at work.
Right. Because they decided to pass up on their health insurance for a pinball machine in the break room.
Right, they needed that.
So no one seems to have health insurance at the plant.
But there is a silver lining when they're watching TV. Dr. Nick will do any operation.
Hi, everybody.
For
$129.95.
Yeah.
Any operation.
But is it going to work out for Homer? We will find out as we go into our lines. Give me your first line.
Close, but no donut cups. That was Snake.
That was Snake.
At the beginning of the episode, I wrote down like 20 lines, so it took me a minute to decide which one I wanted to go with. But so Snake, there's an episode of Cops going on at the beginning of this episode, and it's featuring the Springfield cops, and they are trying to bust a cattle
rustler.
Yes, in town, and they went to the wrong house, even though the house next door obviously has 20 plus cows in the front yard, and Snake drives away.
Yep.
In a car of some sort.
And that's his line.
And that was his line. Close, but no donuts.
Donuts. After they knocked down Reverend Lovejoy's door with a tank.
So, that got us started right away. What about you?
All right, my first line is, you know that feeling when you get 1,000 knives of fire are stabbing you in the heart? I have that right now. Ooh, bacon.
Mr. Homer.
Yeah. So toward the beginning of the episode, Homer's starting to get, symptoms, and he starts clutching his chest, and Bart asks, what's going on? And that was his reply, 1,000 knives of fire, like it's a common thing.
Yep.
But it's not so common.
No.
Alrighty, what about line number 2?
Line number 2, I'm going to go with, Dear Lord, thank you for Ziggy Comics, Baby Ducks, and Sweatin' to the Oldies Season 1, 2, and 4. And that was Flanders. Who is also in the hospital with Homer at the Dr. Nick Riviera clinic. And so for $129.95, Flanders is in there getting a bargain to donate a kidney.
It's a first come, first serve.
And something else he was donating, first come, first serve. But before surgery, that was his prayer. Mm-hmm. Or, his prayer for that minute, because Flanders...
Not a lot of love for Sweatin' to the Oldies 3, apparently.
No, apparently not. Poor Richard Simmons.
Yeah. Well, he got the first two, and number 4 brought him back, I guess.
Kind of made me laugh.
I like it. Very good.
What about you?
My number 2 is, oh, doctor, I was in a wonderful place filled with fire and brimstone, and all these guys in red pajamas were sticking pitchforks in my butt. So Homer can't afford the surgery, so he keeps, collapsing, and they keep rushing him to the hospital. And Dr. Hibbert keeps, using that shocky deal on him.
Yep.
And he shocked him, and that was one of the things he said after he woke up after one of the shock treatments.
Oh, my goodness. So, Homer. I have to throw my bonus line in there because at Dr. Nick's, on this commercial for $129.95, you could come in for brain surgery and leave with a free finger trap.
There's some guy with stitches. And he couldn't figure it out because obviously he had brain surgery. He's like...
It was pretty bad. And I loved it.
Nice. Very nice. Alright, takes us to scenes. We're going to do our best scenes. Which is your scene?
The hospital waiting room. And when Homer goes to the main hospital with Dr. Hibbert, he's wheeled in the emergency room, and in the emergency room, you find a cast of characters, including Willie has his kilt on, and he's bare-chested, and he has 2 arm-like wounds, so who knows what he was up to. Sideshow Mel is stuck in a cannon. Jasper's beard is stuck in a bicycle. Apu has gunshots.
Yeah.
And Chief Wiggum, his jaw is locked because he was trying to eat this gigantic sandwich. So
everyone had some problems.
Yes, major problems in the waiting room. And there were a few others, but
right.
Those ones were the ones.
It was like the camera pans just across everybody, and it wasn't a good day in Springfield. Apparently.
No, because there were quite a few others in there as well. What about you?
So mine is when Homer's being tested after he has, his first heart attack, but, Dr. Hibbert's got to put him through a bunch of tests, and the blubber test and all that.
Yep.
There's one where he's like, now we injected you with this radioactive dye, and it'll go through your veins and show us where the blockage is. And there's Homer standing there with this, screen that's showing all the veins glowing. And the nurse comes up with a syringe. She's like, Doctor, we haven't injected him yet. And Dr. Herbert's like, good God, because apparently it's the nuclear power plant is radioactive. This and that is why you can see all the veins in the screen they hadn't even injected. So that image of Homer standing there, the nurse like this, and Herbert's like, great image, and it was so...
And obviously Homer has some more problems.
Yeah, he's not just a heart attack, he's got veins full of radioactive nuclear power plant fallout, I guess, or something.
Who's your loser?
My loser is Mr. McCraig, because he's got an arm for he's got a leg for an arm and an arm for a leg. I got tongue-tied on that, but it was funny. So, Dr. Nick, after the surgery is a great success, and there's this guy like Dr. Nick, and pans back, and he's got a leg instead of an arm, and an arm instead of a leg, so Dr. Nick kind of botched that.
For $129.95.
Transplanted
Something went a little wrong. And Lisa helped with Dr. Nick's surgery a little bit because it was like an educational surgery. So Dr. Nick's on the floor, and then there were people in movie theater seats watching.
Eating snacks,
eating popcorn and whatnot. And Lisa had been reading up on some medical journals. So I don't know that he fully earned his $129.95, but thankfully for Homer,
Mr. McCraig wasn't too happy with him. So what about your loser?
My loser is Hans Moleman.
Oh yeah,
poor Hans is one of my favorite characters on The Simpsons, and he is driving a semi-truck at the beginning of the episode, and Hans is like yay big. And he couldn't see over the steering wheel to begin with. And then Homer is in full-on road rage mode. And the semi-truck is a wide load, and it's carrying a giant house. And Homer starts, ramming the back of the truck to get the truck to go faster up this hill. And Hans loses his glasses, so he can't see over the steering wheel at all or anything. And then veers off over the cliff. So, Hans Moleman is my loser.
Yeah, that fits very well. Poor Hans. He rarely comes out of these in the top position, but in this episode, didn't work out too well. What about your winner?
My winner is Jasper. And Jasper is also one of my favorite characters. If not, he's in my top 5, actually, for The Simpsons. It's one of those strange things for me. But Jasper, he has his beard, and they are, I guess, frisking him for nothing better to say about that. But they keep pulling items out of his beard, and so I chose Jasper as my winner because he has this amazing storage in his beard to hold things such as grenades and knives and brass knuckles and maybe even the bicycle that he gets his beard stuck in the emergency room scene. Who knows? But Jasper was my winner.
So my winner was a cross between two, a cross between Snake getting away, which was one of your lines, but also Dr. Nick. And mainly, again, going back to something else you said, it was because Lisa kind of gave Dr. Nick the one-up he needed, told him where the incision should be. And I think without Lisa giving him that boost, he wouldn't have gotten through the surgery okay. Nope. But I'd say when you consider all the shenanigans Dr. Nick got into when he's watching a video and it cuts off at the end of the video showing him how to do the surgery and he didn't know how to do it. Right. And then while he's doing the surgery, he's like, think back to your medical school, think back to your medical school. And all he can remember is being at parties telling some chick he's going to prescribe whatever drug he wants. So I think Dr. Nick won because without Lisa giving him that push, he might not have been the winner, but he pulled it off from that little bit of help. So that's my winner today, Dr. Nick.
Good plan. Anything else you want to make comments of on this episode?
Nah, only that it was very funny. It's one of them episodes I could have written down any one scene or line and been fine. So lots going on there.
I wrote down quite a few lines as always, which was a hard decision for me and could have probably come up with 3 or 4 different scenes to choose as well. So that is season 4, episode 11, Homer's Triple Bypass. If you're in the mood for a laugh or two, this is an episode for you to consider. We will be back with you next week for episode 12. And if you would like to give us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up if you liked our episode, make some comments in the comments field. We'd love to see what you have to say. Spread the word and see if we can get more than 15 views on this video.
Yeah, let's go above 15 on this one. We would appreciate that.
Pretty great.
Spread that around. All right. Thank you much. We appreciate it. And until next week, Jiminy Jillikers!